Ladies and gentlemen, this is an emergency broadcast. We broke in emergency style when the New York trailer dropped. I was here with Gibson Johns. You can go back and listen to our reaction to the RHONY trailer. But today I'm with Emerson Collins, fan favorite, formerly of the People's Couch and presently in quarantine in West Hollywood.
Correct. Coming to you live from Emerson's sofa. It's not as fancy as the People's Couch, but it's the same nonsense content.
How many times did you watch the trailer?
I watched the trailer 3 times in a row just to make sure that I absorbed every single frame of this incredibly important contribution / distraction in our current crisis. I mean, here in the time of love and reality television, in the time of Corona, we needed this. Let's be honest. We all needed this.
Tell me what you've been watching during the quarantine. Like, how have you been filling your time?
Now, my television, I am definitely a news junkie, always have been. So I am a CNN on in the background at all times, just because that's what's happening. But I've had to make myself stop doing that. It's not healthy to sit at home when you can't do anything productive with the information. So it's just check in every couple of hours. Is there a new development? Is there new information? What other city is considering martial law, which apparently we're learning no one knows how to spell Marshall. It's not like the store, y'all.
So I know that you were on a plane yesterday when the trailer dropped and I immediately hit you up. You were en route from Dallas back to LA. What were you doing?
Yes. So I had gone at the beginning of last week. I was producing a play that was to open April the 3rd in Dallas. And we have another play to open in August. And we were to do all of the auditions for the second show. So I was in Dallas and then quarantining at an Airbnb there, leaving only to do the details of shutting down that production, getting our creative team and our actors and all of the set and stuff loaded away so that everyone else could go home and be safe. So, yeah, so out of town and quarantined at a place that's not mine.
It sounds really comfortable.
And there's just an awkwardness. We all want to be in our own spaces.
Yeah.
And to be respectful. So sitting at a strange house, twiddling my thumbs, watching the news on my computer is probably not healthy. So the Beverly Hills trailer saved my life.
No,
is that hyperbole? Maybe.
Do you have a plan? I have a couple of shows that I've been preparing to watch, and I've started to watch as part of my quarantine binge. Is there anything that you've been kind of holding close to your heart and be this is how I'm gonna spend my time?
I do have I have thought through structure because I'm definitely a life structure person. I am an introvert. I know that's surprising.
What's your sign?
Sagittarius.
Ooh, okay. I'm a Sagittarius moon. We both love adventure and travel. So what's your plan? What are you gonna binge that you hadn't anything on Bravo that you hadn't yet seen?
I may start picking up some of the home and garden shows that I wasn't doing. The problem is I'm always caught up on all of the Housewives universe of shows. I haven't started Family Karma, which I'm excited about.
So my quarantine Bravo plan is I'm going to watch the entire season. Thank God it's only one of Real Housewives of DC, which I've never seen.
It's so important. The Salahis are some of the great villains of Bravo, and so few people know it.
I'm one episode in. I'm into it so far. This is what I'm going to do over the next couple of days. And I'm going back because this is the first season of Summer House that I'm watching in a pure, true form. I'm going back to season 1 of Summer House and seeing how did we get here.
You really should. It was such a sleeper. Funny enough, I watched the first 2 and I have not been watching this one because I've been busy, but we'll catch up.
It is a breath of fresh, and season 1 of Summer House, that's where you'll find me, and you'll find me the one and only single season of Real Housewives of DC. I'm excited for the rest of this week and this weekend. That's where I'll be.
I mean, honestly, and these are the ways we get through.
Let's get to the issue at hand. Are you ready?
Yes.
Starting out on a scale of 1 to 5, how excited did the trailer make you for the new season?
Full 5. Full 5.
Wow.
My overview reaction to the trailer was, these women have something to prove and they know it. These women went into filming this season with the subtextual goal of proving that they can make great television without Lisa Vanderpump. And I feel like that's underwriting every moment of this trailer. because they want to prove the Vanderpump stans. They want to prove like the terrible people on Twitter, the people who screamed at them all season long last year. They want to prove we are enough. And that desperation makes such good television.
I hope to God that they are enough. Beverly Hills really is my number 2. For good or for evil, like New York's my number 1. Bev Hills is my number 2 in the Housewives world. And Potomac probably close third.
I think what people forget that like love Beverly Hills has never been able to sustain drama the way some of the other franchises do. For me, like they have like one problem and it's a whole season. Atlanta has a problem and it's like one episode and then there's 4 other problems the next episode.
Right.
So I always feel like
which also holds true for New York and Vanderpump Rules.
Yes, and Potomac now.
Yes.
And so I always feel like Beverly Hills, people's expectations are always let down because they always expect Beverly Hills to be something it's never been. Like these women care about their image not for reality television, but for their like Beverly Hills lives. So there's always been an element of like not willing to break too far past that, except from the ones that can't help themselves, like Brandi, who was like, I don't give a fuck, and Rinna, who like can't keep her mouth closed.
Yeah.
But like the Beverly Hills women willing to make drama for no reason for our benefit are the exception to the rule.
1,000%. To kick off, I absolutely loved the framing device using this astrologer.
Okay, I mean, Allison DuBois somewhere has a voodoo doll of this man because she said, I paved the way for you. It's like the way the old queens talk to us slightly younger homosexuals. They're like, you don't know what it was like back when they called us light in the loafers.
I ran so you can walk.
Yes, honey. She said, I smoked so that you could fly.
What's so funny is I did a really good episode with my good friend Andy Bellotti, who is a legitimate astrologer. It came out earlier this week, and we went through the birth charts of a bunch of people from New York, and then we went into the relationship charts of like some of the Vanderpump people. And I sent this to him, and then this trailer came out and I just said, like, you're going to die. Like when you like press play immediately. And he wrote back and he's like, that was supposed to be my role. Like he's guys, Andy's angry that he didn't get the part of the gay astrologer that has somehow been let into Erika Jayne's house. Can you believe they're doing an all cast filming at Erika Jayne's?
I mean, iconic. Like, it was finally time. Like, I want someone, like, you know, confessing their sins in the chapel.
But have we ever all been, has the cast ever been inside? I know that she had a part, remember it was like her birthday party when, like, Tom.
On, like, the tennis courts.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, in the backyard.
They allow them in the exteriors, but I don't know that the entire cast has ever been, like, at her dining table.
No, we did the like weird one-on-one champagne in the kitchen, but like that's the most we've ever done. Yeah, we've never had a full Girardi seating.
I hope we see Tom. Okay, here's a question. Do you think Erika has seen Tom Girardi since she abruptly had to leave Chicago because of the pandemic?
Is she back in LA? Did she leave New York or is she staying there?
No, she had to leave. She left New York.
Like, I totally believe their relationship, and I actually sort of love it, that it's this lovely, like, companionship, friendship, like, mutual respect, because everybody in reality TV, except for Lisa Rinna at the end of this, which we will get back to, is not as good an actor as they think they are. Mm. And so when you catch the side moments, like, Tom genuinely enjoys watching her perform. Yeah. He, like, genuinely enjoys who she is, and her, like, love and respect for him is very authentic. So I think they have a relationship like most people might not inherently understand, but that like really does and has worked for them. And I sort of have always loved that.
I thought that one of the things she said in the trailer was, I've never been with a woman, but I've been with like a couple.
Yes!
I was like,
threesome stories.
I was just threesome stories. I was like, wow, she's actually like telling us something about her life.
Yes. I mean, it feels like a setup to, like, in the, like, judgment of the other storyline. Mm-hmm. Like that we're on our way to, like, see, look, I can talk openly about it. I don't see why you can't openly tell us what exactly happened with you and Brandi. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think she's volunteering for, like, getting to know you. Like, I think it's, like, motivated sharing, which is the best kind.
Oh, my God. Before we dive into Denise, Sutton Strack, friend of...
Yes. I know, it was like, I heard Full Housewife and like definitely it didn't make the promo photos. So
I mean, they announced her and Garcelle in a press release simultaneously right before this season started shooting. And I guess she filmed as a full housewife, but in the end, I guess she didn't have enough material or whatever. Or maybe it's also possible she could have pulled a Barbara Kay, who in the end chickened out and didn't sign the contract. Like Barbara Kay filmed the entire season as a full housewife, and in the end got really nervous that they were going to take a piece of her business, whatever it was.
Oh, yeah. I mean, those extensive, like the reality contracts are not casual. When I tell you that the contract we signed for the People's Couch, and literally we sat on sofas and talked nonsense, there are paragraphs in it that say, actually, we can misrepresent the things that you say. It basically says we can lie about you. We can make it seem like you did and said anything we absolutely want to, and you have no recourse ever for all of time related to anything. I mean, I actually called and said, I need you to tell me the thing that must be a standard comment you give back to decently intelligent people to reassure them about this language. And they're like, oh yeah, it's just standard, it's boilerplate, da-da-da, don't worry, we're not ever gonna do that. But it happened to me, not to like distract us completely.
What happened?
We had an episode where they took something I said about someone being attractive, like thirsting after some guy. I was like, oh my God, he's so hot. And we were watching an episode of The Bachelor with Juan Pablo that terrible year. Uh-huh. And he was a giant homophobe. And so they lifted it from something else and put it over the screen when he was on screen. It was like, oh my God, he's so da-da-da-da. And I did say, I said, look, I will say dumb things. I will say gay things. I will give you all of the things. But that implication that I would be attracted to someone that is publicly and known as a homophobe is a misrepresentation of who I am and what I stand for. And like, I'll stop talking.
So what happened?
Though it was just like, oh, it was a mistake. We understand. And then I never saw anything again that wasn't like me saying what I said matching with it.
But did they fix it for air or no? You just had
I mean, I watched it on the show, like just saw it when we like live tweeted.
So Sutton Strack she uttered like a few words about, she literally said one thing, something to the effect of like, Teddy's boring, like fine, breaking news. But it was interesting seeing how she was featured in the trailer, which was like minuscule, like pretty much nil, as compared to Elise Slane, you would see her in many scenes throughout the trailer of New York this year, yet she didn't utter a peep.
Right. Yeah.
Just an interesting comparison.
How much you can shift the focus. I mean, I go back to like Dallas when Leanne kept dragging Tiffany to parties and like the year of Brandi's like white party when they went downstairs and Leanne broke her belt and the glass at the same time. And like Tiffany was in that room and they managed to like edit the shots to basically like make it seem like she wasn't there.
Yeah.
Like what you can do in a room is so fascinating. But I will say Sutton's one good line, are we supposed to be honest or not? I was like, ma'am, you clearly don't understand Beverly Hills because no, you're not. Like, welcome. Did you just move here? Are you new?
The Erika Jane, Aaron, how do you say his last name? Cyphers?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just say Aaron.
So the Erika Jane, Aaron, a.k.a. Denise's husband, their little feud that they teased, I didn't know I needed that, but it was the greatest thing I've seen in the 2-second clip. That turned me on in a way it turned me on in ways I haven't felt in a long time.
Well, because it was a cockfight. It was like literal big dick Aaron with metaphorical big dick Erika, like swinging their dicks at each other.
That looks really good. And I like Aaron in the mix. I like him being in the mix.
Yes. I'm not one of the like people who are like the husband should stay to themselves always feels weirdly like internally misogynistic to act like grown-ups can't argue with each other based on their sexes. Like when the husbands get in the mix, I'm always entertained. Like there is definite misogyny that happens, but sometimes it's also like it's okay for like a man to fight with a woman. Like you absolutely could take me in both a literal fight and a metaphorical fight. So I always feel like if you have something to say it. Get in there.
Yeah.
Earn your wife's paycheck for her.
I definitely felt like this trailer was Garcelle DuBois' coming out party.
Correct. Like this quinceañera debutante presentation.
Is her last name DuBois?
Garcelle?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Is it? Hold on.
I'm treating her like a one name, like Cher, Buddha, Jesus, like Garcelle.
Hold on. No, I need to make... Oh, it's Beauvoir. My apologies.
I was
confusing it with Allison DuBois.
Yeah.
Garcelle felt like a grand entrance from her.
Correct. Well, and also what she's bringing that this franchise needed is like the commentary from Black people, from people of color, because that her first big quote is this is some white people stuff could be like the log line for the entire franchise of Beverly Hills. Like,
I mean,
this is going
to be on mugs and all that shit.
As it should. I hope she's making the merch now. Like, be ready for premiere night. Like, sell that. Like, sell it at the BravoCon 2021, LA.
Dorinda's helping her with the stencils. It's happening tonight in quarantine.
Back to the astrology, maybe homosexual, don't want to assume or judgment, but
maybe.
Like he will never approach the one that helped Tamara reveal the cancer story, but he definitely was a wonderful framing device. But do we know anything about him? Has somebody done the deep dive yet?
I don't think so.
Because, like, I need to know the story, because that was the greatest star presentation that they were like, oh, we can have him address each woman and then we'll show her this season. They were excited. He's a new star. I mean, the spinoff with Tyler Henry is coming soon. So much work from this one man's, like, just stating the obvious about these women.
Complete obvious.
I was like, sir, did you watch 2 episodes? Because, like, I could have done a deeper like discussion of each of these women, but good for you.
Can we really go deep with Denise now?
Yes.
She gave me every single thing I needed from her in this 2.5 minute clip.
Like, I have not been this obsessed with Denise Richards' performance in 2.5 minutes since Wild Things, when they were in the pool. Like, the best work since then. The single eyebrow raise with Lisa Rinna at the end.
Oh, yeah. The soap opera work.
But, like, that was, like, Academy Award subtlety. Like, Lisa Rinna definitely earned her daytime Emmy, and Denise Richards was giving you single eyebrow, barely raised, no other facial muscle response. I was, like, actressing.
So it seems like it's going to be Lisa Rinna is going to really help facilitate Brandi's story and help, like, carry it through. Because Brandi's going to have limited screen time. Seems like Rinna's going to be doing a lot of the dirty work, as she does. What's sad to me is that they were friends. Denise joined the show because Rinna brought her on. She thought she would be a great fit. I don't like that she's now throwing her under the bus.
I mean, it gets into that weird territory we've talked about where, like, real stuff versus show stuff. It feels like Brandi's going to come in and drop the bomb. And then because of Lisa Vanderpump's standing rule that you can't make her a housewife or I'll never come back, they can't use her as much. Because honestly, the real solution to this season was to day one, and I know you're not a fan, but to make Brandi a housewife again for the sake of changing the energy and, like, giving new drama unrelated to Puppygate and Lisa, like, to not look backward.
Yeah.
But so because they can't, then you need somebody else to do the work of, like, getting around the group and who can go to Denise and ask her about it while the other 7 of us discuss it. And then, you know, before we get to Rome, where that's where it all, like, falls apart, you need the connective tissue.
Which, by the way, it's going to be a long-ass time before we get to Rome. They flew to Rome straight from BravoCon, so that puts us at middle of November. And they started filming in September. So
which makes me wonder,
what do they have before that?
One, like, did nothing happen until, I honestly think that my pessimist is not much was happening, and that's why the brand, like, then they knew the story from Brandi, and they were like, okay, we need this. Because everyone's, like, happily living Beverly Hills lives. But these women are not as entertaining just doing their day-to-day thing as, like, the Potomac women are, as the New York women are, as the Atlanta women are. And they need stuff to happen to them because they won't instigate among each other as much because they want to come off correctly.
Forgive me for, like, offending a huge portion of the audience and just a huge portion of women in general. As soon as they found out Teddi was pregnant, she should have been officially cut.
Yeah, well, it's like Teddy's been a storyline facilitator for a long time. And this definitely feels like the end of Teddi Mellencamp.
I don't see how she can come back after this.
Because she's not interesting enough as a contributor. She's not interesting enough on her own. Who she is not in compelling television, whether you like her or not.
You know what it is compelling television? When Denise is saying, I am in a very real marriage, and she's, like, crying. That was real. That's a real moment.
Yeah. But also, maybe don't have an affair, sleep with, or whatever with another reality television star if you're really worried about this very real marriage that you're in. I'm just saying there's lots of people to choose from that aren't connected to the world of your reality television show.
Of all people, why Brandi Glanville?
Like, there's so many rando, lovely women, bisexual and lesbians all over the country who would happily sign an NDA to sleep with Denise Richards.
Where's Nev Campbell? What's she doing?
Oh, I hope she's well. She's like busy like being a ballet star and stuff. Didn't she did that ballet series?
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
And her brother Christian, that was the star of Trick, one of the first gay movies I ever saw.
Oh, I've seen Trick.
Starring Miss Coco Peru. Early queer cinema icons. Anyway.
I am not into, this has been bothering me on social media all along. I'm not a fan of Rinna wearing all these different wigs. I like the original shag classic haircut.
It's like she took the people's, like, who criticized it too seriously. And now it seems like a weird competition between Dorit and Rinna of, like, whose hair is doing the most worse.
Dorit?
The least. Dorit, whatever. I can never decide. Well, because she can't figure out how to talk and shape vowels. I'm never sure which version of her name is the actual one you would say versus the one she's saying today.
Like, on the subject of Dorit, I really wish, because we all know there's so much shit going on there. And then recently, I mean, did you hear the news? I'm sure you heard that, like, Brian Moylan had hard evidence from a friend of his living in London that PK had been living there. But then they showed a bunch of, they went on social media and just showed the two of them together. If they had, I wish that PK and Dorit would be open enough to just air some of the dirty laundry, something about the lawsuits in the way that Margaret Josephs is open about lawsuits. It would be entertaining because the two of them are entertaining.
Yes. Well, it's also interesting that as a franchise, the decision was made at the level above the women, really, to let these women get away with keeping big things in their lives separate, like lawsuits across the board. They've said at reunions and stuff, basically, like, we kind of all agreed we're not talking about the lawsuits because we live in a world where everybody sues everybody. Mm-hmm. But like the other franchises don't get that. Atlanta's always like, I read on the blogs, Margaret Josephs was like, here's every detail of this lawsuit over a logo that's like nearly ruined my life.
Oh my
and the
God.
Beverly Hills women,
Wait,
nothing.
Speaking of the logo, did you notice that they finally updated the Beverly Hills logo from Real Housewives Beverly Hills with those like weird cartoony sunglasses, and now it's a diamond in the back?
I mean, yes, it was time. Like, geez.
Like, why did it take 10 years?
They were like, I don't know, it works. The graphics department, like, no one was working there, and they were like, it's fine. New York. Meanwhile, New York is like trying out whole new intros and graphic designs, and like, I mean, I'm glad we've done away mostly with like, here's the random kids and the husband in the background, like moments that are just uncomfortable.
Yeah,
like they look like the stickers on the back of minivans. The little like white stick figures. It's like daddy and mommy and 3 kids and 2 dogs and a rat.
Like I remember when it was just Bethany and Cookie hanging out.
Literally. Hey, that's fine. Bethany was like, I'm enough for a whole cast.
That's true. That is true. What else? Like, what else do you have to say about Denise? Like, what else came up for you?
I think the exciting part and frustrating part is that this is so like, oh my gosh, things are really happening in Denise's lives. And she really did a clearly very dumb thing. Because the one thing you can say about Brandi Glanville, whether you like her, hate her, think she's an overreactor, unstable, I enjoy what she brings to reality TV. And the second part is she does not lie. Like Brandi Glanville will say too much. She will do too much.
Yeah.
She will over-respond. But what she says is always what really happened. She has a big personal thing about lying, I think related to Eddie and the cheating.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the real core of this story is that Denise implied to Brandi that this was okay. And I bet what we discover is it wasn't, and it was meant to be a little hush-hush. Mm-hmm. And like maybe Aaron knows, or maybe Aaron's only okay with it if nobody knows about it. And Brandi's big thing is going to be, nope, you got to be able to say, this is what I did, and I did it.
Right.
But the second part is, but I'm worried about the rumors of like that she stops filming after the big confrontation.
Well, it seems like all the scene at the scenes at the end, whatever she's saying, like, oh, you're angry, that all had to be filmed like well after Rome. Like she had to keep filming.
But like the big story is sort of that she walked off of like after Rome and like mostly didn't come back. So maybe that's the tag piece.
She missed the finale party and she missed Teddy's baby shower.
So maybe it's that they finally convinced her to film a tag scene with Rinna. And they both, and like what they told each of the women was going to be accomplished was different. And that's how we get to that moment. Like Denise thinks it's her turn to clean her side of the street or whatever. And Rinna's like, I'm here to make television.
You know, something I did when I watched the New York trailer last month, and I did the same here, was I went back and I watched the previous few season trailers. So I, just before, like an hour ago, I rewatched the Puppygate trailer. And the main difference between the two, because the Puppygate trailer is actually really good. Like it sets it up like the tabloids and these rumors. It sets it up like you really think you're getting something. The reason why I like this better is because Beverly Hills is strong when the season is hinging on something dark. Yes. And this affair, like an affair is something that's dark. And if you hearken back to the early days, the darkness revolved around alcoholism, suicide, like real shit. And this again is something very real that happened.
Yeah. Because they, more than any other group, need something really dark to break down the like veneers of it all, like the performance art of perfection.
Yes.
I will say about this trailer as well, there was more like quotable, GIF-worthy content in this Beverly Hills trailer than Beverly Hills has had in a long time. I mean, between, are we supposed to be honest or not? You were an asshole on Twitter. Don't try and destroy my family. Like there was just Eileen's entire reaction.
Oh,
and the parade of All-Stars cameos. I mean, we saw
talk about the All-Star cameos.
Like, and every one of them, like, iconic moments in this trailer. Because you have Kim Richards with her titty fully out.
Fully out.
For sure, whatever reason.
They barely, they didn't even blur it.
It was like, I mean, mine looked a little, no?
I mean, it
or
was,
there's tape in the way?
The pixelation looked very weird.
They were like, as little as we can get away with. And then, so we have Kim's titty. Then we have Adrienne Maloof being like, well, that's Beverly Hills. Mm-hmm. Queen Eileen with no statement, just a reaction shot.
Perfection.
Instant icon. Like Emmy-worthy reaction gifs.
Camille.
Who else? Oh, okay. Saint Camille of Grammar with the mask fully destroyed. She spent 7 years crafting this Mother Teresa persona, destroyed it last year in like a single episode, and it was like, screw it. Season 1, I'm back. We have a quick cut to the morally corrupt Faye Resnick.
I can't wait for her.
Also, the cameos always make me go, like, did we need them? Mm-hmm. Or are they there because these women have nothing to do and will happily come be on television?
Well, listen, Kim Richards, she's canon. I always need her there. They don't rely on her for a wacky thing the way they rely on Brandi. At least the way they did like last year. Brandi came in for literally one scene that was 2 minutes long with Denise, might I add. Kim Richards is canon, like always include her, and she'll be in more than one episode. That'll be like an ongoing thing.
I also feel like she has to be the entry point for Brandi to tell the story. Like, because Brandi can't tell it to Denise, so we need to get from Brandi to Kim to Kyle.
Oh my God.
That has to be part of because otherwise who's Brandi telling? Because last year Denise is Brandi's connection. It's about Denise. So she needs another way in. So that's my theory.
Oh
is that
my
it's
God.
Like, because Brandi and Kim, for what have the most hilarious odd couple friendship, and so I feel like it's probably that's how we get the story to the group.
Can I give you a little tidbit? So
yes,
I had reached out to Adrienne Maloof to sit down for an interview on this very program. She wanted $5,000.
She's trying to make up for those Maloof hoofs that Lisa Vanderpump ruined for her.
Wanted $5,000. So I was like, okay, like, thank you, but no thank you. And then that was before pre-BravoCon. Cut to BravoCon. She's there. She said absolutely nothing at BravoCon. Like, she added nothing to the OG panel. Right. I was like, well, I'm glad that I saved my $5,000. Not that I would ever pay for an interview, but I was happy about that. Another interview that like didn't happen, but there's an oddness to it. So I had been in talks in DM chat with Jules Wainstein of season 7. Was it season
before or after?
Season 8. My apologies. Season 8 of RHONY. Okay, so we were deep in DMs. In fact, she was coming to New York for, I think it was the holidays. We had it scheduled. She had to cancel at the last minute. I was like, oh, that's a bummer. But like, whatever. Like, we'll reschedule. We'll either do it over Skype or like, better yet, when you're in New York. So I waited a few months. I'm not going to blow up Jules like over Christmas. Like, let New Year's pass, whatever. In February, I DM her like, hey, hope you've had a good winter. I'm like, I would love to set it up. I don't get a response. And I'm like, that's weird. Like, she usually gets right back to me. Literally 2 days later, the news hits.
My, listeners, my mouth has been dropped this entire thing because I knew that this was what it was leading to, and it is still so satisfying. I mean, what the ever-loving fuck?
I DM'd her 2 days before she assaulted Michael.
Like you do.
So I guess, is that ever going to happen? I mean, now she can't talk to me now.
I mean, once that finishes, hit her up. She'll be very available,
Oh, yeah, now she'll have something like really juicy to talk about.
And want to talk about it, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Like,
all right.
she gets it.
So guys, just
she
hang
probably
on. Guys, hang on for this lawsuit process. I don't know what's going to happen to her, but hang on through that process over the next year. And then I'm pretty sure we'll have Jules Wainstein in our corner.
I mean, Lisa Rinna, you need to get that Lisa Rinna soundbite and use it with Jules. Oof, you're so angry. Like, I'm like that Twitter gif is going to get used in every fight during the time of Corona because now none of us are leaving the house to decompress. So like the online fights, I'm like, y'all, who wants to talk about Bethany and Carol? I'm ready to like drag some old stuff out just to have a release, an emotional release.
Any final thoughts about this trailer? Like, what else do you have?
The Dayglow promo photo, I'm sort of excited about. Like the original,
my God,
the 1980s neon, like Dayglow, the original, like 4 colors you could get fluorescence of.
First of all, that was the exact color palette that they wore in the reunion last year. Was it not?
Yes, someone got inspired. They were like, oh yeah, let's just do that again. It was like not totally, but yes, similar, very similar.
I read something on Twitter, like obviously like no one told Garcelle how to stand. Like I think she's like standing a little bit square, and they were like, the Atlanta producers would never. They were like, they would have like positioned her better.
I mean, it is funny that like different producers dealing with different kinds of women in different body shapes. I mean, the others are all like clothing hanger people, and Garcelle looks like a woman.
Yeah.
And like, I'm so obsessive. I was looking at like, oh, Rinna has the highest heels, I think. Because Kyle's are only like 3-inch, and I think Rinna's in like a 4 or 5. And these women think about this because they're like, when they put us all side by side, all you can see is the width of our hips and the height of our heels.
What's interesting is now that New York is premiering April 2nd, Beverly Hills is premiering Wednesday, April 15th. If this is all still going on, which it very well might be, certainly for New York's premiere, it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to affect the entire press cycle.
Yeah. Although people will see more of these shows than have ever watched shows in real time before. Like, even if you lose the advance press, like the actual viewership is going to be so much higher for stuff on television. And honestly, like, nobody ever says anything that interesting or revelatory in the press cycles for reality shows because they can't reveal anything.
They can't reveal anything.
So they're like, bless their hearts. I always think of Bryce and all the entertainment guys who are like, can you please say something that wasn't in the trailer and isn't in tonight's episode? And like, no, I can't. Like the really smart ones can do it, but the rest of them are just like, I don't know, look at my outfit. I have a single. Look at the wig I wore tonight. Like, that's all we're losing is like the one day of content. So like, just give us the episodes. Just give us the episodes.
Well, I just thought of two separate things. Number one, regarding press, how do you feel about the fact that we're going to be missing Watch What Happens Live during this critical time?
I have to wonder, though, if they're not significantly working on ways to do like Whoopi's doing The View from home.
Jimmy Fallon is doing The Tonight Show from home.
I mean, you could absolutely do Andy at his house with Benawaka and Skype these ladies in. Like, absolutely. Yeah. I think really good TV producers right now are thinking of like what are smart, innovative ways that audiences will forgive weird technical things in order to like have stuff happening. I would be absolutely driving that. Like, Andy, center screen, make it like a CNN panel. Like, here's the 2 guests on the side screens, and like roll on with the show. You can still even field callers. Like,
I love that idea. Are you bummed about the Atlanta reunion?
Yes, and I'm sticking with, because he did say like we're gonna do it. Like, it's frustrating we may have to wait too long for it, but those women, they could wait 6 months and it will still be as good as it was the day of.
Yeah, they
do reunion better than anybody else.
Yeah.
And make it 17 parts. Like, there's nothing happening. Like, just live stream the full day shoot. Like, let's all watch it in real time. I even want the uninteresting bits where they're like getting retouched.
I mean, is it going to be like in a Zoom meeting? Just like every person's going to get like a little square?
Please. And then they can just literally mute people as they go along, which they do anyway. My favorite thing at reunions is when you can hear two people still fighting, but they want to give us like the ASMR content from like Phaedra. And so like there's like a faint distance of like somebody screaming in the background while we're getting the like whisper from Bethany or Phaedra or whatever. That's like the better commentary.
Something that I mentioned in the RHONY trailer reaction was how disappointed I am that it's going to be airing on Thursday nights. Because that to me signals, like I was talking to Gibson Johns about this when we did the reaction. He said to him that signals that they don't feel that it's as strong. I mean, who knows? But like either way, it's a Thursday night, and typically that ain't a good. That's not good. That's not where all eyeballs are. But usually that's because we're all going out. You know, that's like a big night out, whether to dinner, or to a bar, or whatever, socializing. Obviously, we're in a different time right now. How do you feel about RHONY getting Thursdays? Obviously, Beverly Hills is going to get the prime slot on a Wednesday, but
well, it's interesting because I listened to y'all talk about it, and like how reaction schedules like earlier in the week allows all the content to be in the same week. But you know, like on actual scripted television, Thursday nights is the hot night. So I think it may be just as much about what the schedule is doing when with other things. I'm not reading as deeply into Thursday night, meaning we're worried about it so much as it's like that audience is so consistent. Like that franchise's numbers don't go up or down, good or bad season. Like those fans are those fans. Mm-hmm. I think it's more we can sort of put it where we need to put it because those people are finding it. You know, like Bravo viewers are not casual viewers. So it just affects your own like week plan, not the actual viewership that much, I think.
Right.
So I'm hoping it's not an indicator. I mean, we discussed previously, this is my morning Bethany season. It will take me several episodes. That said, Housewives Corona content is my favorite new thing. Like Luann wandering around her closet. Like the more of that there is, the better.
Ramona self-isolating with Mario and Avery.
I mean, but also like, why isn't she doing daily live streams, Ramona Corona? Like, come on. Like drinking a Corona and like chatting with the people.
So at this point, now that we've seen both of these trailers, which are you more excited for, New York or Beverly Hills?
New York, like always New York. Mm-hmm. I will say though, I actually think this Beverly Hills trailer might be slightly better advertisement for the show if you're not like as a trailer. I'm more excited because I trust New York to be consistent because those women are consistently delusional. Like they're never changing.
Well, they're just naturally funny. They don't need to have an affair with each other to stir up drama. It's just, they don't need any drama whatsoever. They're just going to be entertaining naturally.
Also, they can't help but be themselves. Like even if when they try to filter, it goes even worse. You know, when they try to produce, it goes even worse and you see more of their real self. It's like they're polar opposites. Beverly Hills needs instigation to force them out of that. And I feel like this trailer was a better preview that at least that's going to happen at some point. But my concern is, was this the mid-season trailer as the premiere trailer? Where like, is this the back half drama that's going to take us a while to get to?
It is the back half drama.
That's what I mean. Or are we going to fast forward through those first couple of months?
Okay, so you just brought up
and drag out the second half as 2/3 of the season.
You just brought up an amazing point. They could scrap a bunch of what they had in the beginning, which would explain why they moved Sutton to be a friend of, if there just truly was nothing compelling there. And they could reasonably, because think about it, they stopped filming Beverly Hills a long time ago. They stopped in November.
Yeah.
So they could easily take footage that was filmed over the course of 2 weeks and really stretch that out. The way, you know, the way, I mean, does Vanderpump do that? Like kind of in a way, like so much, so much happens.
Jackson Brittany's wedding that's been going on for 7 years and 47 episodes. Yeah. Yes.
And I'm all for that. If that's what this is the juiciest thing that they have had in years and years. I don't give a shit what they filmed in September and October.
Absolutely. If 1 weekend is 6 episodes of good content, do 6 episodes. Like I could watch whole seasons just set in the Berkshires at Dorinda's house. Like I don't need it to cover a lot of time. Like if a month went by and nothing happened, give me gray flashbacks of like, oh yeah, we said one thing interesting when we were at your store that day that relates to this. Great. Give the flashback and move the story along. Absolutely.
I bet you that's what they're going to do. Because Rinna had been vocal about like, she was like visibly getting frustrated that they weren't releasing the trailer. And like, as were I think a couple of other cast members, like they kept saying like, it's done. Like we stopped filming a long time ago. We don't know why they're holding on to Beverly Hills.
I think it was that. I think because we got the end of season in the initial trailer, and I think it was probably about making that decision. Like, do we need to compact the first 6 or 7 episodes that we had planned now that we have the end stuff and like re-edit that down to like 3 or 4 so we can get to this sooner and stay in it longer?
I mean, that is just a gift from baby Jesus, if that's what happens.
Correct. It is our Corona presence.
Do you have any final thoughts? Anything else you want to share? Get anything that's on your mind that you want to say right now?
In all honesty, I want to say a thank you for doing what you're doing. I'm going to be genuine and serious for a minute. I think while we are all really struggling and it's difficult, and those of us that are fortunate enough to have a place to be, who don't have family that are struggling, I think it's important to put out stuff like this. I think we all need diversions. We all need to find ways to laugh that aren't disrespectful of people who are dealing with either financial issues as a result of losing jobs or health issues. And I think it's important. And I think what you do, I think all of us contributing to ways to support each other, to be connected with each other, to laugh about things that we love, I think that's really important and a reminder, but also don't take any of this seriously. We all love this. And yes, let's do it. And let's have a good time. And so, yeah, thank you for doing this.
Aww.
I think it's important. I think it's just as much a contribution as, not as like actual healthcare workers, but it is making a lot of people feel better to have something to listen to, something to enjoy, to chat about, so that we all stay and feel connected and support each other through what is clearly a crisis for literally the world.
I completely agree. I mean, I've been consuming more audio content than actual television. I've been listening to podcasts. Andy did his SiriusXM show Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday this week because there's no Watch What Happens Live. They set all the Sirius people up with home units. So like Amy Phillips is broadcasting from her living room, and they're having Housewives call in, like she had Dorinda and Dolores Catania, and I just think the content that's coming out is great, and you can really be filled up in that way. Like, you don't have to be so sucked into your phone. Like, I'm trying to make a real conscious effort not to be so addicted to Instagram right now. Like, it's getting to the point where, like, you know how at the end where it's just like the ghosts because like you've looked at every single story. Like,
you've watched all of them.
Well, by the end of the day, like, it's dark times on my Instagram. Like, it's getting to the ghost, like, people that I've muted. It's like, oh no, do I need to like unmute people now for entertainment?
Right, just to have something else to watch. Yes. Yes.
But for those of you out there, if you want to keep up with me, I am doing season 1 of Summer House and Real Housewives of DC, and maybe I'll do a special episode where I'll give you my thoughts on that, or maybe not. Maybe I'll just keep them to myself. But
no, do it. Share it with the world.
So you've seen DC?
Yes.
Okay, so maybe we can do that together. And Summer House. Oh yeah, you have seen Summer House season 1.
Oh yes.
Those twins, I will say, those Workus twins. Where'd they find those guys?
I mean, correct. They were just so excited they were twins. They were like, whatever comes out of your mouth, the twins. It's a new thing to the network.
But like, the two of them do not fit. I guess in real life they were friends with Kyle and Lindsay, but they do not fit in any other way. I mean, listen, I'm only 1 episode into season 1 Summer House, but like, ugh.
And the like normal one of the twins like pieces out like quickly.
Oh, really? Is that the married one? Because like one's married, one's unmarried. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like, I have like a real life. Like, I'm here to just be your like identical +1. Like, can I go? It's like, I don't care.
All right, Emerson, you are a delight. You are a sight for sore eyes. You look beautiful as always. I love seeing your face.
It is truly my great pleasure.
Where can people follow you during this time?
Follow me on Instagram at actually Emerson. I don't know anything. On Twitter at actually Emerson, and Instagram at Emerson Collins for like nonsense content in the time of Corona.
Beautiful. You guys can follow me, Jess XNYC, and we're gonna see you guys real soon. We'll be back. Thanks, guys.